to boogie whenever you are.
Price ranges or?
And just don't send it us, yeah, annual budget.
Okay.
So include 1 year of work in budget.
First order of business is approval of the minutes of the REMAC for November 15th, 2018, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to accept.
Don't forget, in the REMAC, only the doctors are voting members. You want to vote the REMAC, you gotta go get your MD.
You won't remember.
Okay.
That's the plan.
First order of business, it had changed a little since I published the agenda. It always does, late arrival. The Caroga Lake First Responder Unit is requesting approval for Narcan use. I have their application, which is quite thorough, signed by their medical director, Dr. John Glenn. So I present that to the doctors. They have an extremely fine and efficient BLS First Responder Unit in Caroga Lake. They use Fulton County ambulances, their transporting agency, and they are requesting now to be allowed to use BLS Narcan.
Make a motion to accept.
Next order, we have a lot of informational stuff for the REMAC today. Glens Falls Hospital has been designated as a stroke center on January the 8th. And CMT is now approved for ketamine. I don't know if Beth would like to comment on that at all?
No.
Oh, okay. CMT is being acquired by AMR. I said to Bill Beavers, the next thing you know, AMR will be up in Hamilton County looking to improve their cash flow. That was said by way of humor. I just want that to be
I thought
known.
you said that was a secret, Bill.
Now, I'm going to ask, if I may, I'm going to ask Joe Farrell to comment on this next item. The Morris Emergency Squad facing reorganizational issues.
Morris Emergency Squad has been recertifying as Morris Emergency Squad since 1975. The problem is, there is no legal entity known as Morris Emergency Squad. We just found that out based on the review that we do from time to time. It's partially our fault. There is, however, Morris Fire Department. So what we're going to ask the folks from Morris to do is to either prove that Morris Emergency Squad exists, which we kind of know it doesn't, because we can't find any record of it anywhere, and then refile their paperwork as the fire department. It's not a big issue, but it's legally they don't exist.
So could you give us any kind of an update on the status of the Masonville Fire District ambulance?
No more than you can tell us. It's actually in their hands waiting for correct paperwork.
Okay. I know that obviously they're in the process of a transfer of authority, which I'll give a report on during the AAREMS portion of the day. But I had been told anecdotally by a number of people that Masonville was going to cease operations as of January the 1st of this year. And I have not heard a word from them since, and nor from anybody else, and apparently the state hasn't heard either. Okay. Has anybody here heard?
They've completed their paperwork for renewal. And I know they do have a few EMTs.
They do have, yeah. Okay.
How much they're running, I do not know.
I had also verified that they renewed their CON.
Yes,
So,
I signed the paperwork.
Next item of business is an update on the status of the BLSFR agency recertifications in our region.
No, everybody's up to date, there's no problem. Same with the inspections and the recertifications. Aaron gets another gold star.
I put down here update on the status of ALS agency controlled substances licensing, hospital pharmacy involvement, and current medication shortages. I sent around to everybody a very fine synopsis on medication shortages and medication substitutions during shortage from Dr. Markowitz. I know everybody has received that, and I just wondered what comments there were around the table about this situation, about the several situations.
Any thoughts, corrections, ideas on that draft I made for substitutions with Benadryl?
Everybody got a copy of it. Any comments? Any comments among the physicians? Any comments about shortages?
Someone's got a comment?
I know that I received an email from my quartermaster saying that we were still having problems getting Cardiazem and one other, and I'm trying to look it up.
Beth, are you actually having to use a substitute?
Metoprolol for,
I'm sorry.
speaking with medical control and metoprolol.
Mhm.
Cardiazem, no date from the manufacturer when it will be available, and Decadron, hopefully they can have it within the next 2 weeks.
So we addressed Decadron, if that's acceptable by the doctors, you want to consider putting that out as a substitution? And pass it, do we have to pass that on to
It'll get,
Don?
it gets passed on, it actually goes through me, and there's a process within the office, but yes. Eventually Don and back to you. The other, I know Benadryl people have been complaining about has been revolving short stock along with the controlled substance of the week shortage.
Is this just at the hospital in Mary, or is it from vendors as well?
From vendors as well,
Is it?
yes.
Okay.
This is like third world EMS here.
Well, I recommend we pass that along to Mary and then to Don
Okay. I
for
will,
for the Decadron and for the Benadryl going forward,
okay.
according to the recommendation.
Mary already has a copy of your original letter, but.
Right, but if you could attach something officially from the REMAC,
Sure.
so I can,
Thank you.
Okey-doke. All right, we don't have any correspondence that would necessitate an executive session. Is there any old business or new business to be discussed?
Is anybody else aware of the, that Remo is going to be putting Toradol on their protocols so that it's no longer a drug that needs a phone call, and they're also adding Tylenol to their rigs?
So that is something that has been addressed at the BLS collaborative level. And those were approved, and others, changes to the collaborative protocols were approved yesterday at the SEMSCO meeting. Also, just FYI, we are going to have new BLS protocols. They finally got that through as well. I'm just trying to find the notes for the,
Toradol was going to be added at 15 milligrams for pain control. It's not out yet, so it's not in use, but as soon as the protocols come out, Toradol will be changed over for pain also.
Okay. What did you say else was, Tom, what did you say else was added?
They're also adding Tylenol, aren't they?
Tylenol?
yes, they're adding Tylenol for ATS ambulances in order to be able to address a pyrogenic reaction to a blood transfusion. Eventually, they were going to flesh out Tylenol and ibuprofen single-serve doses for the pain management protocol and the sepsis protocol as well.
do you know if they got Tylenol added to the formulary yesterday?
I think they made that motion. So, Tylenol, I believe, is already in the state, isn't? Okay. But they talked about all of that, so, and I'd have to dig deeper into my notes to find out, but there are changes both with the BLS protocols, which were approved. There will be education very much like the 2017 collaborative protocol education where different groups have put together educational videos. And the implementation, the last day to implement the new BLS protocols as it stands right now will be August 1st.
Of this year.
As I notice I said as it stands right now.
No year was discussed.
Are there any,
There was one more issue that was brought up. AAREMS doesn't have a pre-hospital emergency care coordinator. And it's probably recommended that we have one for our region, for pediatrics, to help be in a pediatric emergency care coordinator and kind of oversee and help with education and standards.
is this for pediatrics, you say?
Pediatric pre-hospital.
Well, it could be service-based, or it could be regional-based, or both.
Right.
They'd
You
like
can-
both.
You can actually go down to each agency, but somebody to help in our region to help oversee.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
So a pediatric emergency care coordinator is an individual or individuals who are responsible for coordinating pediatric-specific activities. A designated individual who coordinates pediatric emergency care need not be dedicated solely to this role. It can also be an individual already in place who assumes this role as part of their existing duties. The individual may be a member of your agency or work at a county or regional level and serve more than one agency. Being a resource for education on pediatric medications, equipment, and supplies, promoting and sharing pediatric continuing education opportunities, encouraging pediatric simulations, hands-on pediatric skills assessments, and encouraging that fellow providers follow pediatric clinical practice guides.
I think that activity would really qualify as a deliverable for the program agency in every regional council, but
Currently, it does not.
it does not, no, I know, but I was just thinking it might make a good deliverable to kind of work on that issue and provide some guidance to
The program agencies
services.
are all discussing with the state now about ways to streamline the deliverables, make them a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit less redundant. Right now, they're quite redundant.
Yeah. Anyway, just a thought.
Is anyone around the table interested in taking on such a responsibility? Would have to be a member of AAREMS, I guess.
There will be more information forthcoming. I sit on this committee. We're having monthly meetings. We put this out so people are aware as part of Ryan's excellence program.
Right.
The pediatric is a standalone. With what we hope to eventually have is, I don't want to say easily practically obtainable goals for
Right.
agencies.
I think we probably then, from just what has been said so far, I think probably that when we have our monthly conference call with Ryan, I suspect this probably will come up. I suspect it will. Or I can bring it up if it doesn't. Good, okay.
I'll scan this flyer that they gave out as, at state as part of what I send to you for the state report.
Oh, great, that'd be fine, I'll send it to everybody then.
Okay.
And I will bring it up if it doesn't make the conference call.
And keep seeking a individual to help out with this and help coordinate for the region, as we were one of two regions that didn't have
Did we get it?
a representative.
If you look at the map, it looks like Nassau, Remo, AAREMS, Mid-State, and Central New York were the ones that didn't have somebody designated.
Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about this when I give my report on the conference call. Any other old or new business?
Nothing further. Make a motion to adjourn.
Minute meeting?
The REMAC stands adjourned at 11:16. That was a quick REMAC.
Didn't like that.